Attorney General Letitia James and former FBI Director James Comey. The federal judge said the acting U.S. attorney who secured the indictments was unlawfully appointed.
It matters most because a message has to be sent that the President of the United States cannot use the Department of Justice to target his political enemies. I don't care what your politics are, you have to see that as fundamentally un-American.
That was Comey's reaction. He posted that on his Instagram. Now, the cases were dismissed without prejudice, meaning the Justice Department may be able to prosecute the two again. Let's bring in legal analyst Lou Shapiro for more on this. Good to have you. Thanks for being with me. How is the appointment of the prosecutor, Lindsay Halligan, illegal?
Good to be back with you, Marla. So the issue is that once the previous prosecutor's term ended after 120 days, it then goes to the district court. The judges then decide who is to take over at that point. But the Trump administration didn't feel there would be enough time for that process to go forward and prosecute Comey by the time the statute of limitations would have passed. So instead, they handpicked the next prosecutor, which they weren't really allowed to do, and that's what the court ruled today. And that's how we find ourselves in this situation with the case being thrown out.
So this was just a matter of we need to rush to do this.
Yes, it was a shortcut being taken by the administration. They tried to argue that there's nothing that says that we cannot do this. But the court ruled that, well, whenever there's a prescribed procedure that this is what you do, then the inference is anything else doesn't fly. And that's how we got here.
Okay, so would you describe this as sort of a paperwork, a legal action then?
It's a combination of paperwork and also just not following the policy that was prescribed by the Department of Justice and statutory law. Look, at the end of the day, this was a situation where the Trump administration had to make a decision. Are we going to prosecute Comey, or are we going to follow protocol and not be able to prosecute him? And they gave it a shot, and it just blew up in their face.
Okay, so Pam Bondi says these cases, though, will be refiled. What are the chances that that happens?
So with respect to Comey, there was a 5-year statute of limitations, meaning they had 5 years to bring the case, and otherwise they're out of luck. That's why they rushed to do this. Because the case was dismissed, the Trump administration is going to have a hard time convincing the next judge why the statute of limitations should still be in play, why that 5 years hasn't passed yet. So he's probably safe. With respect to James, she's still within the statute of limitations, so if they want to go back on her, they might be able to do so. But again, that's just the statute of limitations issue. There's others issues like the vindictive prosecution argument that they're going to try to make as well that really hasn't been addressed yet by this court.
What is the vindictive, what you just mentioned?
So vindictive prosecution is that the Department of Justice is supposed to prosecute individuals fairly with equal treatment, protection of the law, that nobody gets prosecuted simply for a political motivation or reason. The problem in this case is right after the prosecutions or the indictments were handed down against Comey and James, President Trump immediately issued statements talking about the prosecution, calling them names, disparaging them, saying there will be other people on the list. So clearly he's sort of making a record that they can use in an inevitable vindictive prosecution motion, that this prosecution was designed not just to for justice reasons, but because that's what the Trump administration wanted for political gain or retribution.
We talk about broad implications of this ruling today. What are those broad implications? What message is the judge sending to the Trump administration?
So the message that is being sent is that it's a reminder that the justice system has guardrails. And that when the government cuts corners, especially in politically charged cases, there will be consequences. And that's what we saw here.
Okay, and we were just showing images of Lindsay Halligan. She was a personal attorney to President Trump prior to this, what has been deemed as an illegal appointment by this federal judge. What's her future look like now?
So she's not in a great position. I think she suffered some public embarrassment through this whole ordeal. She's had to bring in prosecutors to help her from all over the country because the local ones in Virginia were not signing up to join in this cause. And because of that, and because of this ruling today, I think it's going to be really hard for her to look herself in the mirror and say, should I be continuing with these marching orders that I've been given.
And if the Trump administration came to you for legal advice, what would you say to them?
I would say that I think the country just wants to move on from this, that this is old news, that people are really more concerned about issues of health, safety, affordability, the economy. Focus on that instead of focusing on people who you feel did you wrong. Take the high road, take the classy road. I think the public will much more appreciate that.
All right. Well, we appreciate you jumping on tonight at 6 o'clock. Lou Shapiro, legal analyst. Thanks so much, and happy Thanksgiving to you and your family.
You too, Marla. Happy Thanksgiving.
Are you